The following is a special presentation of Big Polly's World of Sports Sims, alternating the reality of sports and entertainment since 2020. And welcome everybody to our latest installment of the Hometown Football League. Big Polly coming to you. As I record this, it's week 6, February 8th, I believe, of 2022. You ever lose track of time and not know? Oh, I was correct. It was February 8th. You ever lose time and you don't realize what day it is? Like, you know what the date, but you don't know the day. February 8th, 2022, we could continue to await in real life the Super Bowl, the latest the Super Bowl has ever been played, February 13th. It'll be Cincinnati and Los Angeles. So today I thought we would do the Bengals of the HTFL taking on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Cleveland is a 5-point favorite. Each team is 3-2, and each team looking to keep pace in the HTFL North Division. So hello everybody, if you like these videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit that thumbs up button, hit that bell, so you know as soon as the latest video of mine drops. So it's going to be Cincinnati and Cleveland. I will actually play as Cleveland at Cleveland Browns Stadium, 59 degrees, a wind of 0 to 10 miles per hour, and the computer will control Cincinnati. And on Friday night, we're going to do Kansas City, Los Angeles to honor the Rams and their appearance in Super Bowl 56. I was just reading on Drudge Report that they are expecting over $31 million. Or is it 30? No, it couldn't be 31 million. It had to be 31 billion with a B to be bet on the Super Bowl. Well, maybe it is million. Well, but the point of the story was that it's the largest amount of money ever bet on one game in probably the history of sports betting in this country. And right now, the last line I saw had the Rams favored by 4, maybe 4.5. And let's go. 31 million sounds more believable. Kenny Anderson, there's probably a few whales in Vegas that are going to bet a lot of money on this game, probably in the millions. Anderson for Cincinnati, Otto Graham for Cleveland, who is one of those quarterbacks, who when he played in the 50s, if he completed a pass, it usually was for higher yardage. He threw those deep passes so well. Jimmy Brown coming in with 85 carries, 407 yards. Anderson has a 99.8 rating. And Otto Graham is 89.8. See if there's anything else notable. Dunlap coming in for with 2 sacks, leading everybody on Cincinnati. We have had 4 different players for Cincinnati with interceptions. And it's kind of been quiet defensively for Cleveland. And Cleveland wins the toss, will defer to the second half. Recording this a little earlier in the day today, about 1 o'clock, 1:03 to be exact, because it's a raw day here in the Tampa Bay area as I record this February 8th. About 55 degrees and a steady rain has been following here all day, so I figure I should get this over with and try to get under someplace warm for the remainder of the day. It's Watson, Jones, and Brooks back deep for Cincinnati, and we are underway from Cleveland Browns Stadium. And it is Watson taking it 25 yards to the 28 before Houston makes the tackle for Cleveland. Let's introduce the starting lineup for Cincinnati. It's going to be Corey Dillon over here. We have 228s in the backfield for Cincinnati. He comes in with 346 yards on 72 carries. Kennebrew is the other running back. The receiving numbers on these two are 3 and 2 respectively. Hushmanzada and A.J. Green are your wideouts. Of course, Green now plays for Arizona and missed out on playing in a Super Bowl with the Bengals. Ross is your tight end, and he's a guy who could make plays. And I'm struggling to see his reception numbers. Looks like you probably all could see it better than I can. And his receiving number is a 7. Anderson is your quarterback out of Augustana. And your line, Munoz a 10 plus, Steinbuck an 8 blocker, Johnson an 8, Montoya an 8, and another Anderson is a 9 blocker. And that would be Willie Anderson. You see him there. We'll set up the Cleveland defense in just a moment, but let's run the first down play. It's Anderson looking and finding Kennebrew, a gain of 11, and a first down for Cincinnati. Defensively for Cleveland, it's Ford, Burnett, Rimkus, and Shirk. And 9, and 8, a 9, and a 9 defensively. Those are their defensive ratings. Banks, Johnson, Matthews, a 9, 8, 8 at the linebackers positions. Dixon and Menefield are both 9s. Darden is a 9, and James is an 8 at free safety. So when Cleveland gets the ball initially, we will go through their offense and Cincinnati's defense. First and 10 from the 39. The throw was a bullet, but incomplete.
Defense. Number 80, 5-yard penalty.
It was Ross, the intended receiver, but Anderson just whipped it out of there like a Nolan Ryan fastball. First and 15 at the 44 now with the 5-yard penalty tacked on. And it's Anderson looking and completing a pass to Hushmanzada. And there's a challenge possibility here. The pass may have touched the ground before being secured by Hushmanzada. Do I want to challenge? Yes.
Upon further review, the ball touched the ground before being secured. Incomplete. No timeout will be charged.
Okay, so that's an incompletion. 2nd and 5 now. Ball at the 44. I also feel a cold coming on, so I wanted to get this in the can, and we will be airing it tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. 2nd and 5 at the 44. I accidentally stepped on Ella's tail about an hour ago, and she let out a very loud meow. You know, it kind of... I do get a little klutzy sometimes. Dillon on the draw. He gains the first down, so it's 1st and 10 at the 49. And Ella quickly forgave me, and I was very, very apologetic to her. She usually, when she mounts, she's very, very meek. 1st and 10 at the 49. And that's an incomplete pass. And I was very, very apologetic, unlike that soccer player over in England who plays for West Ham that was kicking his cat around. Oh my God. If you're not going to take care of your cat, don't have a cat. That's all I got to say about that. And I hate seeing videos like that on social media. That is just disgusting to me. 2nd and 10 at the 49. Don't harm the universe, and the universe won't harm you. That's my motto. Incomplete. Looking for Hushmanzada. Broken up by Dixon. And it's now 3rd and 10 at the 49. It was Drew McIntyre of the WWE who put that up on his site.
Defense.
On his Twitter feed.
Number 56, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And I should probably point out, as the holding against Chip Banks is good for a first down for Cincinnati, they're now at the Cleveland 46, that I am back on Twitter at Paul J. Blom, which is my real name. 1st and 10 at the 46. Took a several month sabbatical from Twitter. That's a catch for A.J. Green, a gain of 29 big yards before Menefield could get to him. And we'll profile Frank here. And defensively, he has now played in 5 games. And looking for the stats on him. 24 tackles, 6 passes defensed, and when they throw to him, quarterbacks are 16 for 30 for a 53.3 clip. 1st and 10 at the 17. This is a give to Kennebrew. We have to watch closely here because both running backs for Cincinnati wear 28. But in the HTFL, we let you wear the number you want to wear. 2nd and 7 at the 14. We don't care. Gain a loss of 1. I should say I don't care. Dillon loses a yard, tackled by Banks. And it's 3rd and 8 at the 15. Crucial down here for the Bengals. And getting close to first down yardage was Dillon. He needed 8, but he only gained 5. Minifield on the stop. So a field goal attempt here from 27 yards out. Kick by Graham. Shane Graham is good, and the Bengals jump up to a 3-0 lead. 9:41 left in the first to play. The drive took 12 plays, 62 yards, and 5:09 off the clock. Eric Metcalf, back deep, Peppers and Mitchell. Terry Metcalf, Eric's father, plays for the St. Louis Maroons, as was the case last year. Oh, but that ball is kicked to the moon, or seemed to have been kicked to the moon. And that's a touchback. Cleveland going into the win, so they will have the advantage for quarters 2 and 3. Here is their offense. And the numbers we give for the skilled position are their receiving numbers. Brown, a 4. Motley, a 2. Those are your running backs. Of course, Jim Brown, one of the best runners ever in professional football. Speedy and Mitchell are your wideouts. Winslow is the tight end. What was I thinking Winston for? Kellen Winslow Jr., he is an 8. Speedy and Mitchell, by the way, a 4 and an 8. Graham, your quarterback. And Thomas, Hickerson, Mack, Batonio, and Shafraff are your offensive line. The blocking numbers on them, 10, 10, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9. 9, 8, 9. 10, 10, 9, 8, 9. As the cold that I knew was coming on is hitting me with a little more force. It's 1st and 10. I like to run the double tight end set when I run a run, even though that might be a tip-off. We're going to trap it right with Jim Brown out of Syracuse, and he will gain 3 yards. Coming into the game, Brown, 407 yards on 85 carries. Defensively, for the Natty, it's Dunlap, Smith, Atkins, and Reed, 8, 8, 9, 9 defensively, the front 4. Spikes, Berge, and Perfect, a 9, a 9, and an 8 respectively. Those are your linebackers. Parrish and Riley, both 9s. Casanova and Nelson, the safeties, both 8s. And it's 2nd and 7. And we're going to go Marion Motley this time, trap to the right side, who I think gets overlooked as being one of the great runners of all time. A gain of 7, short by a few inches. So on 3rd and inches, we'll go full house, and we'll go Leroy Kelly. 3 plays, 3 different rushers, but it looked like a busted play, and Atkins traps Graham for a 1-yard loss as he wound up eating the football. 4th and 1 at the 29, and Cleveland will have the punt. Here's Gary Collins, who also doubled as a wide receiver. Played brilliantly in the 1964 NFL championship game, which was the Browns' last championship to date. 27-0 over the Baltimore Colts. 1st and 10 for Cincinnati at their own 42. We have 7:18 left, and the Bengals lead right now 3-0. And here's Anderson looking. Incomplete, looking for, it looked like it was going to A.J. Green, although no specification was made in the play-by-play, and Green is down here, number 18. Hushmanzada is 84. He's up top. So you got a A.J. and a T.J. in the wide receiver positions for the Bengals. Houday, 2nd and 10 at the 42. That throw incomplete. Looking for Kennebrew. 3rd and 10 now. The ball at the 42. Of course, Cincinnati, probably better known for the Cincinnati Reds, but the Bengals have never won a World's Championship. They could do so Sunday. Anderson had to scramble, and he's not a bad scrambler. He gains 3 yards. 4th and 7 at the 45, and Cincinnati will be forced to punt. which they do. And that goes through the end zone. The punter was Pat McAnally. The first ever professional football game our family videotaped was a preseason game between the Bengals and the Jets. It was done by CBS, which you wouldn't ordinarily think because at the time CBS did the NFC games. And Summerall and Madden did that game, and McAnally came up with the phrase "one knee equals 2 feet," or they were pointing out that McAnally was from Harvard, I think, and John Madden. There was a call in the second half that went in favor, I think, of the Jets on a touchdown, and they were wondering, they were looking at the replays, and they didn't think he got both of his feet in bounds. And Madden came up with that line that became a book of his eventually: one knee equals 2 feet. So a gain of 5 for Brown, and it's now 2nd and 5. Brown 2 carries, 8 yards, but we're very, very young in this game yet. And we're going to look to Motley with the Bengals playing 4-3 in an unknown coverage scheme. Gain of 4, and here we go again, 3rd and 1. 5:21 left. Graham is not a bad runner, but I don't want to use him when you got Brown and you got Motley and Leroy Kelly in the backfield. And this time Brown straight ahead, but again they are short of the first. How about that? So it's 4th and 1 at the 4th and inches at the 30. And I'm very tempted just to go for a first down here, but we will punt. Collins to Jones. And this is punted to the right, and it's a high kick. The punt went 47. The return by Jones only going 4. 1st and 10 at the 27 for Cincinnati. 3:55 left. We still have a 3-0 lead going Cincinnati's way. Here's Anderson. That's complete to Hujmanzada. A gain of 14. Dixon on the stop. 1st and 10 at the 41. Surprisingly, a lot of the friends in my life have been from Ohio.
Encroachment defense. Number 80, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
I had a friend from Columbus, and at one point in my life, I had a friend from Cincinnati, and I had a friend from Youngstown. 5-yard penalty, which is going to give the Bengals 5 more yards. 1st and 5 at the 46. 3:08 to go. Pitch, and that is Kinnebrew gaining 10. So he's up to 2 carries, 13 yards, 1 catch for 11. And it's 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 44. We are under 3 minutes left in the quarter. One of the 28s, which is Corey Dillon, gain of 8. 2nd and 2 at the 36. There was a DJ in this area here in the Tampa Bay area named Corey Dillon, who I believe moved to another market. Worked for a station called 101.5 The Point, which was all 80s. 2nd and 2 at the 36. And then I think she worked for Clear Channel for a bit. Loss of 4. Fumbled by Anderson, but Cincinnati was able to keep possession. It was Anderson recovering his own fumble. 3rd and 6 from the Cleveland 40. 91 seconds left in the quarter. Incompletion as Anderson was looking for A.J. Green. Punting time, we'll watch for the fake. And we'll see if McAnally could get it close. Well, you can't get it much closer than that. 2-yard line. And that is where Cleveland will start. 98 yards from pay dirt. 45 seconds left in the first quarter. We're going to go dive with Brown. And again, the animation here will not be correct. He gained 7 yards. Ken Riley making the stop for Cincinnati, number 13. I remember back when he played. And that's the end of the first quarter on this 59-degree day in Cleveland. Cleveland will now have the wind advantage, but they trail going into the second quarter 3-0. Cincinnati ran 17 plays in the first quarter, 83 yards. Cleveland only 7. They have not passed the ball yet, and they have gained 26. 2nd and 3. And I'm setting something up here, folks. Play action to Mitchell. I think it's about high time to try it. And it's complete out to the near the 30 to the 31. And Riley again making the tackle, a gain of 22. I figured with the wind advantage Cleveland now has and will have for the next 2 quarters, it was time to go play action, and it worked well. You're so tempted just to keep running the ball. With Motley and Anderson, we're going to run with Motley here. And that's a stand up at the line by Takeo Spikes and a loss of a yard. And that makes it 2nd and 11. Paul Warfield will be the hopeful recipient of this. It's going to be a medium out. And that's caught. Gain of 23. Parrish on the stop. And you could see Graham, when you go to a medium pass, he could throw it a little farther than all the other quarterbacks can, about 22, 23 yards. As opposed to, say, a Drew Brees, he's throwing a medium pass, it'd probably be like 17 or 18. So Brown will go back to him, trap right on 1st and 10. And that's a loss of a yard. We were in the 3 wide receiver set, seeing if that could open up some running lanes, but not to be. Brown has been held to 15 yards rushing. A little more than a quarter gone by. So we'll go right back to him, trapped to the right side on 2nd and 11. Little more success that time, 4-yard gain. Takeo Spikes again on the tackle, and it's 3rd and 7. We're going to go short pass, and we'll do a random short pass here to Kellen Winslow Jr. on 3rd and 7. That's an incompletion, couldn't hang on, and with a 4th and 7 at the Cincinnati 44, no chance of a field goal here. We'll send Collins on to pooch it. And that is down at the 19. The punt only going 25 yards. 1st and 10 for Cincinnati at the 19. 11:06 left in the half. Each team with all 3 timeouts. That is thrown and completed by Hujmanzada. Dixon on the tackle. And it's 2nd and 4 at the 25. So Cincinnati continuing, as they say in the news, to control the narrative here. And that's Dillon back to the line, and that's it. 3rd and 4. Screen, and that is going to be a completion to Larry Kinnebrew. His 2nd of the day, 19 yards total gain. He has 2 rushes for 13. 1st and 10 at the 33. The way you can discern between the two is Kinnebrew is here up top and Corey Dillon is here on the bottom on either side of Kenny Anderson. And we have a marker.
False start. Offense. Number 14, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Oh, they get Kenny Anderson for the head fake, as you often see in the HTFL. Quarterbacks, they watch the quarterbacks closely, and they watch to make sure he is not cueing the snap. As I have a drink of water here. It's one of those days where you got to leave the heat on, and when you leave the heat on in a house, the house tends to dry up. But 1st and 15 at the 28 now for the Bengals. Here's the throw, incomplete. That was for A.J. Green. Kenny Anderson now 5 for 12 and 68 yards, so he's not off to a good start. But the Bengals have the lone score of the game so far. On 2nd and 15, that's deflected by Minifield. 3rd and 15 to 28. Minifield and Dixon were on those Browns teams that always seem to be a step away from the Super Bowl in the 80s, back when they had Bernie Kosar quarterbacking them. 3rd and 15 at the 28. That's incomplete. Again, Minifield providing stellar defensive coverage, and the Bengals will have to punt. Pat McAnally back at his own 15. And can Metcalf make a good return here? Well, it was pretty decent, 15 yards. 1st and 10 for Cleveland now at their own 45, so they have pretty decent field position. 8:32 left to go in the half. We will trap it left with Jim Brown. And Brown is loose past the 45 to the 41. Spikes came up from behind, made the tackle, a gain of 14. 8:19 now left in the half. And that boosts Brown to 7 carries and 33 yards. We'll go Motley. Off tackle right side in a one tight end set. Gain of 3. It was Atkins on the stop, but we have an injury to Takeo Spikes, who will be off a few plays. I believe it is James Francis coming in out of Baylor, the Baylor Bears. 2nd and 7 now at the 38 of Cincinnati. Cleveland wants to use their running game. Short, tight formation, so we're going to change it up and go Winslow on a medium hitch. Look at 82 here. Incomplete. Tight coverage by Casanova. And it's going to be 3rd and 7. We'll go 3 wide. And we'll look to Mr. Speedy on a short crossing route. Incomplete. So the Browns have been snake bit here. A 50% chance that Matt Barkett hit one from 55. And usually 50% of anything is my measuring stick. So let's go for it. From 55, it's blocked. That low trajectory kick did not fool Cincinnati, and they were right on it. Tim Crumry with the block recovered by Parrish, and Cincinnati takes over at their own 45, which is where Cleveland was, 55 yards from pay dirt, and now Cincinnati likewise on their own 45. 1st and 10 with 7:11 to go. Oh, thank heaven. And this is Dillon gaining 5 on the right side. James making the tackle for the Browns. So a nip-tuck, defensive-oriented game, I guess you could say this is. Oriented. 2nd and 5, right on the HTFL logo at the 50-yard line. That's incomplete. James was shaken off, and his return doubtful. So it's now Ford, Burnett, Rimka, Shirk, Branks, Johnson, Matthews, Dixon, Menefield, Dart, and Lewis all in the game on the defensive side. 11 for Cleveland. Big play, 3rd and 5. And it was a 4-2 nickel. Dillon on a draw play, but he only gained 3, needing 5. 4th and 2 at the 47. Well, I'm definitely looking for a fake here. Field position in the down distance seemed to favor that. McAnally punts it to the 11. Punt of 36 yards with no return by Eric Metcalf. So Cleveland takes over at their own 11. We have 5:31 now left in the half. Hope you're enjoying this game. Trap right, Jim Brown. And Brown is going to go into the secondary, but Spikes in from behind making the tackle, a gain of 9. 2nd and 1. And Graham wants the bundle here. It's going to be a play-action bomb to Mitchell. See if it works. It's complete. And that flips the field 53 yards. Graham to Mitchell. And Kenny Riley right there behind, catching up, making the tackle as Mitchell had to slow down to catch it. 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 27. We have 4:31 left to go. The bomb works well for Cleveland, and here's a trap left for Jim Brown. 1-yard gain. Berge on the stop. Berge would go on and play for the Eagles later in his career. 2nd and 9 at the 26. 3:47 left to go. It is a fly to Max Speedy on 2nd and 9. Incomplete. Fulcher may have been able to be in a position where he could have intercepted it, but not to be. 3rd and 9. Yeah. Graham is 3 out of 7. We're going to screen it to Motley, try to get it underneath, since the receivers have not been having much luck. And here's Motley, touchdown Cleveland. Marion Motley His longest catch of the year, 26 yards. Cleveland takes the lead in one fell swoop. It's 6-3. Barr in to try the extra point in the HTFL. The PAT spot is the same whether you're going for one or going for two. Not like we have these days in the NFL where if you kick, you kick from the 15, but if you want to go for two, you go from the 2. 7-3 Browns with a successful point after by Lou Groza. I'm sorry, they use Groza on point afters. And they use Barr for the field goals. Watson, Jones, Brooks again back deep for the Natty, and it's a touchback. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Go to the Bengals. See what Anderson can come up with here. That's a give to Dillon. 2-yard gain. And Cincinnati will call timeouts before the 2-minute warning. So they use their first. They have 2 left. Each team does not have a challenge because Cleveland used theirs in the first quarter. So Cincinnati has their challenge left. In HTFL play, each team gets 1 challenge. All turnovers and all scores are looked at in the booth. So we give each team 1 challenge as opposed to 2. 2nd and 8 at the 22, 2:37 to go. This is Kennebrew gaining 3. Johnson on the stop for Cleveland. I believe that is Walter Johnson. Mike Johnson, I beg your pardon, 1991. There was a Walter Johnson. I think he played for Cincinnati, actually. 3rd and 5 at the 25. Thinking of him because he wrestled in the offseason for the Detroit circuit. Big time wrestling. 3rd and 5 at the 25. Once wrestled Terry Funk, I think, before Funk became NWA champ in 75. 3rd and 5 at the 25. And that's an incompletion. Hujmanzada was the target, but the pass was overthrown by Anderson, who is now 5 out of 16. 68 yards. Graham not doing too much better, 4 for 8. 4th and 5, McAnally in to punt. And that punt goes to the sidelines. Out of the 27, the punt, 48 yards. 1st and 10 at the 27. Double tight end set. And we're going to get Brown another rush before the 2-minute warning. We're going to pitch to the outside. I like to control the line of scrimmage with my runs, but occasionally I like to swing it to the out. Gain of 7. Reed on the tackle. That is Mike Reed out of Penn State. And we'll go to the 2. If your score is 7-3 Cleveland. Ball at the 34. It is 2nd and 3. And again, I'm going to use play action here to go to Mitchell, Bobby Mitchell, who just caught the long bomb. Graham threw it away. Cincinnati appealing for intentional grounding, but the referee's not throwing the hankies here. Short pass to Speedy on 3rd and 3. And that's caught. A gain of 15. Fulcher on the stop. 1st and 10. 1:40 to go. We'll go no huddle. And we'll screen it to Jim Brown and then call timeout if it's successful, which it is. And that's a gain of 8. Spikes on the tackle. And now Cleveland will use their first timeout with 76 seconds to go. 1:16. 2nd and 2 at the 43. Medium pass for Winslow here. 2nd and 2. A marker. That's got to be.
Pass interference.
And it is.
Defense. Number 27, automatic, 1st down.
So that's a big penalty for the Natty. Moving Cleveland to the 17 with 1:09 to go. And we'll look to Paul Warfield on a short crossing route. If it's completed, it will likely be a touchdown. But it's not. Smith knocking it down at the line. That is Justin Smith out of Mizzou. 2nd and 10 at the 17. We'll look to Brown on the screen pass, which inside the 20 usually have lesser odds of completing. That falls incomplete. 52 seconds to go. And we are just going to go Brown on a draw. Maybe try to force Cincinnati to call a timeout. We're going to go dive play, Jim Brown. And if Cincinnati does not call time, we're just going to milk the clock here a bit. Gain of 5. Brown's going to get his last carry of the first half, barring anything unusual. With 11 carries and 55 yards on the day. We're going to run the clock down to 2 seconds. And timeout is called before the play clock expires. Matt Barr will try a field goal of 29 yards. 85% chance he gets it, and he does. And we go to the half with Cleveland leading 10-3. And I will pause for just a moment to drink some water. And we will start the second half. Cincinnati 29 plays in total, 110 yards. Cleveland 29 for 214. So they have each run the same number of plays, but Cleveland getting more bang for the buck here, and they get the ball. Little bonus to start the second half as they deferred. Metcalf, Peppers, Mitchell back deep. Touchback, 3 yards deep in the end zone, so Metcalf is going to say, I'm not going to risk it. No, but of course, as Bruce Arians would say, the coach of the still defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at least for a few more days, no risk it, no biscuit. So 1st and 10 for Cleveland at the 20. We use the old school rules on touchbacks. We don't move it to the 25. We move it to the 20, which is what the rule was for many a year. Pitch it right to Jim Brown in the double tight end set. And he'll gain 5. Perfect. Knocks him out of bounds. Burfict was probably known for that playoff game against Pittsburgh where he committed a couple of personal fouls, which pretty much gave that first round game to Pittsburgh. I believe that was the year Pittsburgh made it to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl last, the year they won Super Bowl 43. Could be wrong about that. 2nd and 5. I think they were like a 6 seed and they ran the table. Trap right, Jim Brown, 2nd and 5. And Brown into the secondary, picking up another 14 yards against Chicago, a game we had here on the HTFL. He ran for 29 carries and 156 yards. So far today, he has 13 carries for 74. So he's kind of on that pace he was last week. I'm not going to do the hard math on it, but he's in that neighborhood. 1st and 10. We're going to go play action median pass. We'll let the computer pick who it goes to. How about that? A little something different. Incomplete, looking for Winslow. Smith is hurt one of the defensive ends. He'll return after a few plays of medical attention. Eddie Edwards comes in out of the U, Miami of Florida, before they really became the U. Of course, the Miami Hurricanes got vaulted into a different stratosphere when they won the Orange Bowl 1984 over Nebraska. And it was an incomplete pass there. Graham was trying to screen it to Brown, and they rule it incompletion. They thought it was a fumble, but not to be. 3rd and 10, ball at the 39. Look to Warfield on a medium slant. That's incomplete. Warfield was wide open.
The ruling on the field stands. Incomplete. A timeout will be charged.
Cincinnati using their challenge to see if it was an interception, but not to be there. Collins will punt, line of scrimmage being the 39, and I'll finish my thoughts about Miami here in a minute. That was one of the great college football games of all time for some of you youngsters tuning in. It was one of those back and forth games. Miami jumped out to a big lead early. I think it was 21-0 at the 84 Orange. Well, games on YouTube, I do believe, because of college football, I don't think is covered by the same copyrights as the NFL is. 1st and 10 at the 17. It's Anderson looking and finding Hujmanzada, a gain of 13. Nebraska got back in the game with a play where one of their linemen, I believe it was Dean Steinkuhler, picked up the ball and ran it in for a score, one of those fumble-rooskies, they called it. First and 10 at the 30. 12:41 left in quarter number 3. I thought I hit the CPU button. Now I do. And that's complete. That's to A.J. Green, a gain of 20. So Anderson feeling hot. He's now 7 of 18 for 101 yards. But the game came down to a touchdown. Nebraska scored. They were trailing 31-24, and they got into the end zone on a touchdown. I believe it was like an option play. Turner Gill got several yards down past the line of scrimmage, then lateraled it to, I think it was Jeff Smith, and they got a touchdown, 31-30, and it was late in the game. And this is Anderson giving it to Corey Dixon on the stop, a gain of 3. Now, this is before college football had overtime. They didn't have overtime in, they had it in bowl games by the early 90s. 2nd and 7 from the 47, and I'll keep going with the story here a little bit. But Anderson's going to throw, and yoink, with the pass goes Frank Minifield. That's his first pick of the year. And Cleveland now will have it with 10:30 to go. So it was 31-30, and Tom Osborne, who was the head coach for the Cornhuskers, had to make the decision. You go for one, take the tie, and probably win the national championship on the basis of the tie because they were the higher-ranked team. Trap to Jim Brown on 1st and 10 at the 28. And Brown is loose. He gains 13 yards. Or do you go for 2 and try to win the championship outright? Osborne went for the 2 points, didn't get it, and Miami won their first national championship in '84 by just winning that game. It was a de facto national championship because Miami was not ranked number 2. They were like 3 or 4 in the country at the point. We're going to go Motley here on the dive. 1st and 10 at the 42. And Motley gaining 7. Parrish on the stop for the Browns. It was several years before there was a bona fide national championship game. But occasionally, every now and then, you would have a national championship game develop, and you'd have the top 2 teams in the same bowl. But it didn't always happen. So there were years where you had split championships. And Brown on a pitch to the right, gaining only a yard. Perfect on the tackle. The ball right now at the HTFL logo at midfield. Motley trapped to the right side. He has had 5 carries and a first down there, gaining 3. Moves him up to 6 carries and 23 yards. Brown is at 88 on 15. Ball to 47 of Cincinnati for a 1st and 10. And I am going to go play action. Thinking Cincinnati is going to flood the box again. Play action, medium fly to Winslow. And it's there. Gain of 20. Winslow hung on. A 1st and 10 at the 27. Cleveland, after surrendering the first 3 points, has been marching on. Was it One Direction that had that song about back in the aughts or the teens, marching on? I'm marching on, we're marching on. Trap left Brown. Gain of 6. Nelson on the stop for Cincinnati. And it's 2nd and 4 now at the 21. As I look out my window and I see the dark clouds hitting us again. No real threat of thunderstorms, but it's just been a steady rain. I was mentioning that Cincinnati has 2 28s in their backfield. You got 82s on either side of the ball. Ozzie Newsome and Kellen Winslow Jr. We're going to hitch it to Ozzie on 2nd and 4. Instead, Graham runs for a 6-yard gain, another first down. And Cleveland seems to be firing on all cylinders here. 1st and 10 at the 15. Motley, a trap to the right side. And this should work because Cincinnati playing deep loose coverage. Motley only gaining 2, though. Smith on the tackle for Cincinnati. Justin Smith, we were mentioning him earlier. 2nd and 8 at the 13. 5:01 to go. In fact, Cleveland's going to slow it down a little bit. Trap right, Jim Brown. Brown past the 10, past the 5 to the 4, and that's 100 yards. A hundo for Jimmy Brown, 103 to be exact, gaining 6.1 a carry. Total for Cleveland right now as a team, 26 carries, 133 for a 5.1 clip. 1st and goal to go at the 4. And we're going to go back to Brown on the dive and hope he punches it in. Which he does. Touchdown, Cleveland. So Cincinnati can't seem to stop the running game of Cleveland's. It's 16-3. Luto Groza makes it 17-3 with 3:20. Groza, of course, was one of the more accurate kickers in NFL history before we had soccer-style kickers. He was a straight-ahead kicker. 1st and 10 at the 35. No, not a 1st and 10 at the 35. We're kicking off from the 35. Watson, Jones, and Brooks back deep. That's a touchback. Cleveland having the wind advantage for another 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and Cincinnati gets it for the remainder of the day. So Cleveland has been held now to 146 yards. Most of Cincinnati's yardage came on that first drive that went 62. So since then, they have only gained 84 yards and have been held off the board. 1st and 10 at the 20. 17-3 now. And this is Anderson scrambling, a gain of 13. Both quarterbacks wear number 14, Anderson and Graham. Although Otto Graham was better known for wearing number 60, and he wore 14 at the end of his career. 2nd and 7 at the 23. It's Anderson. The throw complete to Dillon. Gain of 6. But it's a yard shy of the 1st, so it'll be a 3rd and 1 at the 29. The give is to Dillon. By the way, they're now playing a I formation instead of that double running back shotgun that they have been using most of the game. Dillon was stood up by Johnson, and now Cincinnati has to punt. I got to watch for a fake here. But then again, I seem to be very conscientious about all of that. And the punt rolled dead at the 33. Metcalf, I know the animation showed that Metcalf got to it. He did not. Punt goes 38, no return. 1st and 10, ball at the 33 of Cleveland, 67 yards from pay dirt. We're down to the last minute of the 3rd quarter. Going a little slower today with this than I would like, but try to keep it going here. Inside run. We're just going to do a random inside run with Jim Brown. Brown into the secondary. He gains 15 more before Casanova gets to him. Tommy Casanova out of LSU. Boy, they must have chided him about his nickname, Casanova. 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 48 with 47 ticks to go. We'll go Motley outside. No, I think he was more known as a inside runner. He gained 7, perfect on the stop. That does it for the 3rd quarter. And we go to the 4th. Cleveland will now be going into the win, which is 0-10. 17-3 they lead. Cleveland now 46 plays, 326 yards. Cincinnati has run 36 plays, 155. They have the only turnover of the game that we just saw in the 3rd quarter. So a 2nd and 3, and it's play action time. We're going to go medium pass to Bobby Mitchell, which may work because Cincinnati playing short and tight. Graham back looking. Oh, looked like he was going to have Mitchell there, but he could not get to it. It's an incomplete pass. 3rd and 3. Okay, we're going to play the percentages, and we're going to go Brown on a dive. And he gets the first 6-yard gain. 128 on the day on 20 carries. So if you run the ball well, good things will happen. Motley trapped to the right side on 1st and 10. And Motley is loose. Past the 20, past the 10. House call, touchdown, Cleveland. "39 yards from Marion Motley. And you're so busy trying to stop Jim Brown, you forget Motley is there. 23-3. Cleveland leading. Groza with the point after, which is good. 24-3. And the Browns now with 24 unanswered. 13:49 left in regulation, just in case Cincinnati gets 3 touchdowns. And this kick to Watson's going to be returnable. It goes 20 yards to the 25. Fiss making the stop. And Cincinnati going all in. They're bringing in 2 receivers. Chris Collinsworth without Al Michaels. Al Michaels, by the way, calling his 11th Super Bowl for NBC, but he called Super Bowls for ABC before that. Carl Pickens, also in the game out of the University of Tennessee. Al has called more NFL games than anybody. Throw over the middle, that is complete to Pickens. And when I mean called more games, I mean done play-by-play. Remember, he has not called games from 1986, although he did do a few games for NBC in the 70s. 1st and 10 at the 40s, and worked for CBS for a little bit, around 75, 76, doing West Coast games. 1st and 10 at the 40. And that's no gain. So CBS at one point had Al Michaels. Al Michaels never worked for Fox, or he would have called games for all 4 networks. 2nd and 10 at the 40. Cleveland trailing 24-3. Of course, Michaels was the voice at one time of the Cincinnati Reds. Gain of 16. You ever watch footage from the 72 World Series, Reds against the A's? He's there, calling a game with Kurt Gowdy as a young man. Of course, there's rumors that Al will be going to Amazon Prime and working their Thursday night package, maybe with Troy Aikman, I think. 1st and 10 at the 44, because Aikman, when he was calling the Eagles game against the Bucks with Joe Buck, openly said, "I wish I was in Dallas, working the 49er game." Dallas 49er playoff game. Gain of 13 for Dillon. Dillon on the day now, 12 carries and 43 yards. So yeah, this will be the 11th Super Bowl for Mr. Al Michaels, tying Pat Summerall for that honor. Although Summerall also called Super Bowls 4 and 6. 4, 6, and 8, I believe, with either Ray Scott or Jack Buck. 2nd and 6 at the 27. I don't remember offhand if he did Super Bowl 2, which was only on CBS. And then with Super Bowl 10, he started doing play-by-play with Tom Brookshire. He did 10, 12, and 14 with Tom. Because it used to be CBS and NBC in the Super Bowl rotation. 1st and 10 at the 19, and Cincinnati's got a good drive going. Gain of 8, as Anderson found Chris Collinsworth there. And this is going to be Dillon stopped at the line by Rimkus, a loss of a yard. 2nd and 11 at the 20. And then from Super Bowl 16 onward, it was Summerall and Madden. And then ABC joined the Super Bowl rotation for a bit. And that's a gain of 5 yards. Parrish on the tackle, and that was a run by Ken Anderson. 3rd and 6, 8:57 left to go. Ball at the 15 of Cleveland. Throw, incompletion. And a field goal attempt here, which I would not be doing. Field goal won't really help you. And Graham hits it. It's 24-6 with 8:31 to go. But yeah, it's true. Al Michaels is on play-by-play has called more games than anybody else, including Summerall, because, of course, with Michaels, when Summerall was working with CBS and then later with Fox, some of the seasons Summerall did were 14 game seasons. Metcalf, Peppers, and Mitchell. But I'm going to watch for an onside here. We're going to return it. Metcalf will be a yard deep. Past the no, not past the
Holding.
20, at the
Receiving
20.
team.
And a holding penalty. First and 10 from the Cleveland 5. And of course, Al started doing Monday Night Football in 1986 and has worked, 16 game seasons. Summerall was a play-by-play guy from 74, 75, 2002. First and 10, we're going to go trap right. And Michaels has been working most of the games from 76 to 2020, not 76, 86 to 2002. Reed on the tackle, Brown only gaining a yard. Big possession here for Cleveland, but they have an 18-point lead, so Cincinnati's still going to need 3 scores, which has me verklempt why they would kick a field goal. Pitch to Brown. Oh, Graham had to eat the ball there. Loss of 2, nearly a safety. Perfect on the tackle. Well, not nearly a safety, but it puts them a little farther towards their own end zone. We're going to go, let's see here. Best chance is trap right Motley. I don't want to throw the ball here. Gain of 3 yards, 7:02 left. And by the time Gary Collins punts this from his end zone, we'll be down to around 6.5 minutes, maybe a little less. 4th and 8 from the 7. There's the punt. And let's see here. A return to 3 by Jones. Fumbled, recovered by Mr. Jones. Counting Crows, mid-90s, Mr. Jones and me. First and 10 at the Cleveland 44 for Cincinnati, so they have a chance to trim the lead a little bit here with 6:21 left. Cleveland now up to 52 plays, 373 yards. As a team, they have rushed for 206 on 34 carries, 6.1. Cincinnati at 215, 45 plays. And they still have the only turnover of the game. First and 10 at the Cleveland 44. The throw there. An incompletion. 6 bad passes, our scouting department says, by Ken Anderson. It's 2nd and 10 at the 44. Down to 6:16. And that's a gain of 10, Anderson to Collinsworth. First and 10 at the 34. Of course, NBC this year also has the Winter Olympics that have been going on from Beijing, China, the first city to host the summer and the winter games in different years. 2nd and 10 at the 34. I don't think any other city has ever had that accomplishment. An incomplete pass. Nations have had both the summer and winter games, but not the same city. And they are getting the lowest ratings for those Olympics in recent history. 3rd and 10, maybe of all time. And of course, as I record this February 8th, the U.S. has yet to win a gold medal in any of the events. 3rd and 10 at the 34. Though, just hearing that we took a bronze in of all things, cross-country skiing, which is usually not a sport America dominates or does well at. An incomplete pass. And Anderson was looking for A.J. Green there. 4th and 10, last chance to dance on this possession for the Bengals, but they stay alive. That goes to Hujmanzada, a gain of 15. Anderson now, 13 of 30, 171 yards. Graham is 7 of 18, but he's made those passes count, 167 yards. So neither quarterback having a great day, but the running game of Cleveland has been the difference. 5:15 left. First and 10 at the 19. Throw. A catch by 81, which is Carl Pickens, the volunteer from Tennessee. Touchdown. Cincinnati, 24-12. They are going to go for 2 again. That's the computer AI of Action PC football. I would kick the single extra point here, as they say in Canada. And here's your 2-point try. Incomplete. And that's exactly why you don't want to go for 2 points. You want to get your 7s before you get your 8s. 24-12, and we're down to 4:50 to go. I will again watch for the onside kick, and I'm going to down it. Just not taking any chances here. 4:50 left. And it's Brown. Running a little long today, but I've been waxing about things here and there. Off tackle right, and when I wax, I usually do go long. No pun intended. 2-yard gain for Jim Brown. Smith on the tackle. Brown is now at 131 yards on the day. We have 2 backs with 10 carries, which used to be a common thing in the National Football League in, say, the 70s. You look at a random stat sheet, and you'd see 2 guys with 10 carries or more. You don't see that much anymore. The game is so pass-happy now. But teams used to run the ball more. Pitch right, Jim Brown, 2nd and 8 with 4:44 left. Oh, that's a huge loss. 6 yards. And it's 3rd and 14. Well, pretty much now you gotta throw it. We're gonna go Bobby Mitchell on the crossing route. See if Brown can connect here. I'm sorry, Otto Graham can connect here. Gain of 18, a first down. With 3:17 left, we'll go back to the double tight end set. We'll slow it down. This is what we should have been doing. Off tackle left Brown, 1st and 10. And he runs it for a gain of 2. He's now at 127 yards, and that was his 24th carry. We'll go to the 2-minute warning. 24-12, Browns over the Bengals. 2nd and 8. These two teams, by the way, met week 1. All the games we're seeing in week 6 are rematches of week 1. Motley will get the ball here, or will try to, on 2nd and 8. And Brown just back to the line. Cincinnati calling a timeout. They have 1 left. Cleveland has all 3. Neither team with a challenge left, although they won't need it here. So 3rd and 8, we're going to force Cincinnati to call that last timeout. Trapped right Motley. And he gains 6 yards. A season high for Motley on his 12th carry. He's up to 80 yards. And Cincinnati actually holding on to that timeout. I told you the AI does some weird things. 1:02. And Cleveland calls time. They have 2 left. And it's going to be Gary Collins punting the ball away. Jones back deep. I think that's Dub Jones. And the return will be for 10 yards, the punt being 43, the net being 33. Ball to 25, 54 ticks on the clock. Cleveland leading 24-12. The Bengals have 1 timeout left, 54 seconds. 4 wide. They look to Collinsworth and that turkey neck of his, an incompletion. 2nd and 10, 25. I'm kidding, Chris, if you ever see this. I say that with affection. It's Anderson looking and not finding Pickens, who was double covered. Parrish tipped it, and it's incomplete. 44 seconds to go. 3rd and 10. And it's a sack. Shirk got 2. Kenny Anderson, and does Cincinnati use their last time? Well, they almost have to. 36 seconds, a 4th and 20. I'm going to play defense. I'm going to go 3-1 quarter, deep zone, prevent. When it's an easy call, I make a call defensively. Otherwise, I let the computer do it. And an incompletion, as Anderson was looking for Green. Anderson's going to finish his day 14 of 34, 190 yards, 1 pick, 1 touchdown. And we're going to have Graham take a knee, and we'll get out of here. Cincinnati cannot stop the clock. The game is over. And they win. Cleveland wins, I should say, 24-12. Took a while to play, but like I said, I was telling stories. And let's first show you the MVP and the line score. Motley gets the honors with that 39-yard spectacular touchdown run. And he also caught a 26-yard pass from Otto Graham. earlier on. So there was that. Look at the team stats. Cincinnati was actually perfect in the red zone, though they kicked 2 field goals. Cleveland was not, but they outgained Cincy 395, 249, and held possession for 33-52. They ran 59 plays, Cincinnati 55. First downs were close, 18-16 in favor of Cleveland, though Cincinnati made that close. 6 penalties in the game, and that was it. Your player stats, I always like to look at those, and it was Graham with the better day, but neither really had a good day. Otto, 8 for 19, 185, 1 touchdown. He threw 2 passes over 25 yards. Jim Brown, 127 yards, but Motley got MVP honors, 12 of 80 with that 39-yard gallop. Brown 24 for 127. Leading receiver was Hujmanzada, 4 for 48, but Mitchell had 3 catches for 93, including that bomb that was in the second quarter. We had 3 players with 7 tackles: Smith, Spikes for Cincinnati, Dixon for Cleveland. So it was 24-12 your final. As I come back on camera, and we will tell you that our next stop here on the HTFL this week, as I look over here on the monitor, Miami at 3-2 against New Orleans, 3-2. As I look at the standings, they are each in a 6-way tie right now for the lead on top of the Southern Division. The teams tied are Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Miami, Houston, and New Orleans. And there are 8 teams in each division. So we'll give you that next week. That should be a fun game. Drew Brees against the not a no-name defense, but Miami, Dan Marino. Leading the way for the all-time Miami Dolphins, their HTFL entry. And we'll catch you tomorrow, Lord willing, and if the creek doesn't rise, as I always like to say, because you never know when, things end. This has been Big Paulie coming to you, wishing you well. Godspeed, God bless. We'll do it all again real soon as we wade through week number 6. Bye-bye for now, everybody.